Now, there might be a time where you want to speak up and you might not have the words, or it's not a fully formed idea, but you're like, there's something here and I want to bring it up in the space, but I don't want to look dumb. I don't want to sound stupid, which are fair fears. One of the things you could do is just preface it. Just preface it saying, look, I have the beginnings of an idea. It's not fully formed, but it feels like it might be what we're talking about and helping us get where we want to go in this conversation. And then just share with them a little bit of what it is and just say, does anyone else kind of hear what I'm saying or thinking something similar? Sometimes you'll get the yes ands, and sometimes you might get, no, not really. And you're like, okay, cool, I'll think more on it. And when I have a fully formed idea, I'll get back to you. So again, even though you might not have a complete idea, you can still bring it up in this space, especially when you're working with a group of people to kind of create something, when you're brainstorming or making decisions, really allowing to help fill out the picture of what's not seen. So that's another thing that you could do if it doesn't feel fully formed. Now, what happens if it's just a stumble, which totally happens? Make a joke about it. Laugh about it. Just be like, oh, I can't very talk today. I guess I'm still waking up. Or, man, I still got some oatmeal in my teeth and got caught in my throat. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter, but it's so easier for people to stumble on something, and then that's kind of the energy they then carry through the rest of what they're trying to say. And so that's something that you want to avoid for yourself and for the group. If you stumble, that's okay. Laugh about it, make a joke, shows that you're confident and comfortable in your own skin. It allows you to kind of let it go, and then you just pick up where you were. Okay, so don't worry about stumbling. Don't worry about getting it perfect. It can just be a good moment for a laugh. Okay. Now, let's say you get into the moments where it feels like someone's talking on and on and on and on and on and on and on, and you want to really speak and bring up points and maybe even start redirecting the conversation a little bit. This is something that I use all the time. A lot of people, when I'm working with clients, they have a lot to say, and they also don't know how to articulate everything. So I want to make sure that I'm serving them as much as possible, and that might be to kind of pause them and help redirect the conversation. So here's a really great, easy tool that you can use to redirect the conversation, and so that you're speaking up in the meeting. And it also shows that you can kind of take control and get the meeting to where it needs to be. So all you have to do is say, hey, can we just pause for a second? Because there's a lot of really great stuff, rich stuff that you said in there, and I want to make sure I understand what you're saying. And then you reflect back to them, kind of like a summary of what they said. And then you ask, is that what you were saying? Is that am I hearing you right? And they're like, yeah. And then you're like, okay, great. I think that's important. And another thing that I'd like to bring up, the and, not the but, and another thing I'd like to bring up is, and then you can start kind of redirecting the conversation. That's one that I use all the time. It shows that I have really positive intent for this person, that I'm really trying to show that I understand this person, and it helps me feel like I'm leading the conversation to a way that's very productive and helpful for the rest of the group. So that's a really great tool to use. I use that one all the time, and it's just so helpful. Now, so you're ready, you wanted to kind of interrupt someone. Now you're ready for some disagreement. I love arguing. Now, I don't like divisive arguments. I love people getting in conversations where we have different opinions, different beliefs, passions, and values about what it is that we talk about. And it allows me to learn more about what's important to that person. It allows me to see their values in a much more clear sense when we find things that don't align, because we get to start clarifying the differences in it. And so it helps create a really great picture. So if you're ready to start disagreeing with what someone said, Again, it's not the intent to put anyone down, but it's with the intent to support the meeting, the conversation, the whole shebang. What you can really do is say, first off, you want to again use reflection of what someone said to show that you fully understand what it is that they're saying, but more importantly, what it is that they're really meaning. So you want to really make sure you can articulate their side of the conversation, of the argument, of the debate, whatever terminology you want to use, but their perspective, and show that you understand it. And when you do that, people are more apt to take a step back, to put their walls down, because you show them, I heard you. I heard you, I heard you, I heard you. And so now you can then say, I have a different perspective and I'd like to bring that up in this space, right? So letting them know. Sometimes you might even ask permission. Hey, I really like what you said. Here's the reflection of it. Is it all right if I share a different perspective? Is it okay with you if I play devil's advocate? Whatever it may be. Sometimes asking permission, especially if you're working with people who may be a little bit have challenges with their communication and can get easily rattled, or whatever that may be, it would help smooth it out a little bit if you ask permission first. Now, in other environments, if you're really comfortable and you're back and forth, you don't necessarily have to ask permission. You say, okay, is this your perspective, the reflection? Cool. I'm seeing it in a different way, and here's my opinion. Use a lot of I statements. Don't say you, or don't put the other person down, or why they're bad, wrong, dumb. None of that. It's about really just showing the merits of the idea itself rather than also the person. So we're not attacking the person. We're not saying this person's wrong. We're saying the idea is not something that we agree with and we have a different perspective on an idea. So that's a great way to start a conversation where you disagree with one another. So these are the things that you can do to help you feel more comfortable speaking up in a meeting. Again, it can be really fearful, it could be really frustrating, it could be really challenging, exhausting, confusing. And that doesn't mean that we don't speak up, because your voice is valuable. Your opinions, your thoughts, your ideas will only support the group, because they need different perspectives, they need different opinions. And so here are some of the tools that you can use so that you speak up at the meeting, so that you have a better experience, so that you feel like you're a part of it, you feel encouraged, you feel more confident. And it also helps everyone else in the room because you're speaking to things that maybe other people aren't speaking to. And so you're helping them see a more realistic view of the whole picture. Also, it shows that you're someone who's not afraid, who's confident, and that they can rely on you more because they know that you would be willing to show up, get your hands dirty, and get involved. So I hope these were helpful for you. I just want to say thank you so much for watching this. And if you are looking to have more meetings and looking to get people to open up and have better meetings, I actually have a free resource for you below. So in the description of this video, you'll be able to see a free resource that talks about all the different things that you can do so that everyone can feel more open and have a much more productive, engaged, and just better meetings. So go ahead and check that out in the description below. It's a free guide that'll show you all of that. So again, thank you so much for being here throughout all this. I really do hope it was helpful. Thank you and have a great day.